Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you've arrived at day 63 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2019. Thank you so much for being with me today. You have no idea how much that means to me. And today's tangle is Arkand by Lynn Hensley. And let's explore it and see what's up with it right now. All right, to start, you're going to make a 5-pointed star, sort of, with these very slender, I'm going to call them petal shapes. They're also seed shapes, I suppose. And you're going to want to give yourself a little room, but probably not this much room. Maybe it'll be okay. So it's basically, I said 5, I mean 6. It's basically going to be like a butterfly. Here's the body. And then you've got your wing shapes. Oops, that got a little big. But you've got your wing shapes to the side here. And again, you want to make these slender and not thick the way I did. This is not the best example. If you want to see a really nice example, check out Lynn's Step Out on Tangle Patterns, and it's very pretty. I'm going to try to do a better job on this, but this is just to demonstrate how it's set up. So you're going to basically have 6 points, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 on the clock face, if you will. Now, from each of these petals, she has something very clever in the Step Out. You put sort of a backward C shape on one side and a sort of a C shape on the other. And you complete. And again, forgive me, I'm not going to turn this anymore because it's just too awkward. There are things I miss about having my desktop set up, most certainly, and that is the ability to easily turn my tile. Okay, so this is the next step. And the next step after that is to either add another one of these right here, like so, very tight in. And I sort of ran out of space on that one. You see why you want to leave yourself some space. I suppose drawing behind is fine. Except I didn't do this in order, so we'll see. Okay, and I did it on there. Okay, so that's step 2 or 3. Don't ask me to do math today. I'm not going to be good at it. All right. And this is how she gets a little shape that looks like fescue. So what you do is you take the corner or the curve of your C that you've done and sort of take it around and down and meet back up with the stem, and you have fescue. And I think I will probably draw my fescue shapes this way from now on. This is why I think this is clever. This is actually a shape that I have trouble getting right in the field, as it were, as I draw. And I sort of like this start to it. It gets going the right way. And it's easy to put the shape in. So that is the next part. And continuing on, I'll speed this part up for you. And if the tops of yours aren't beautifully curved, then you can usually adjust that. But just that little clever start to those makes that so much easier. And so I definitely think I will be drawing my fescue in this way. That is assuming my fescue are going to have a curve on top, and since they frequently do, that should work. Or maybe this is how everybody approaches fescue. I don't know. Anyway, so you can vary those. You can have both if you want and just have fun with it. Of course, my very first inclination is to do that. You guys knew that. All right. I'm going to do a smaller, neater version of this. Speed it up, and hopefully it'll turn out much nicer as an example than this one. Okay, for shading, I think the step out had two methods. Basically, of course, to shade gently down here at the bottom. Now, depending on if your spacing is better than mine, you could do that all the way around, and probably should anyway, just to give it some cohesive feel. I don't know. I suggest, it looks very simple, but I suggest you practice this prior to placing it in your pattern. The placement of these little pods is a little bit tricky. The other shading method that she had in the step out was a sort of drop shadow type of a thing up along these tall sort of tendrils and along the side. I don't know. Honestly, I'll have to play with it a little bit and see what I like. I will probably stick with the simple, and I will probably draw this a few more times. I was going to say I was going to draw it a few more times before I put it in the pattern, but I can't, can I? Oh, you guys have me trapped. I've got to do it off the cuff. This is actually really good for me. It's good practice. All right. Arkand. We might as well put that in one of these nice spots. Let's put it over here. Beginning with the inner auras. Hopefully they won't be too creative today. I'm going to try this. Okay, I'm going to try marking a small circle. Okay, a small circular sort of object. And I'm going to use that as a base, sort of like the Tangle ratoon. And I think I'm going to place don't move too fast, Cindy. Sort of played fast and loose with my circle, didn't I? And yes, I like this look, so I'm just going to put it in right now. I'm going to own it. I like my flowery stuff. And then I'm going to sort of point this next to at the corners. I think I got that one a bit big. I got my new pen today. It's really juicy, if you will. Okay. Boy, I really played fast and loose with that circle. So I'm going to slip that in there. Slip that in there. Didn't quite do a very good job on this, but we'll make it work. All right. So I'm going to need to make this one a little bit wider out, because I left a little room there. Did not mean to make it that curly though. This I'm gonna go ahead and leave not too far out. And I think I let my middle petal, if you will, get a little too big. So as always, when I get comfortable and start drawing instead of paying attention to the camera, it went out and we missed part of this, but this is what I ended up with. And when I finished, I added an aura inside what ends up being a small star shape in there, if you get your petals set up correctly. So that's what I'm going to do with mine. I'm going to add a little shading, particularly here around the middles. I think I'm going to start with it within these little shapes, these little bowls, if you will, and then spread that and see how that turns out. Whoa, sorry, my hand twitched. I'm about to find out how it looks spread out. Oh, that's a pretty little pattern, isn't it? I think I've got some more playing to do with this one, and I really like that. Now you could blacken this little star if you wanted to. That might be interesting. Also, it occurred to me that if we were going to treat this like a botanical flower or plant of some kind, you could put this type of thing in there and really give it a more dense look in the center. So I really like that. And I really like this pattern, actually. I have a little trouble keeping it in the confines of what it should be, but that's okay. That's what organic patterns are all about, growth. So that is Arkand by Lynn Hensley. There we are. Day 63. Guys, thank you for being with me today. I will see you tomorrow, and if you have missed any of these, get into the playlist, the 100 Days of Zentangle playlist, and you'll be all set. Everything that you need from start to finish will be right there in order. Thank you so much for being with me, and I'll see you tomorrow.